Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your boy Larry here, back with another episode with an update on this MK5 Supra. So last Sunday, my son and I went to pick this up. You saw kind of the adventure back and forth around that, really short. When I first brought her home, the first thing I did was actually gave her a good wash. I know most people don't wash their car or detail their car once they bring it home from the dealership. But the first thing I did was literally washed her with this kind of an acid wax remover to remove all the wax. Because the first thing I like to do with all cars is do a light paint correction, especially when it's pretty new. And then from there, I do a ceramic coating. So that process took about 3 to 4 hours to get that all done. And what happens then is that the maintenance on this paint for the next 2 years or so will be very carefree. What that means is that I can lightly wash it and the dirt will fall right off. And it has this waterphobic kind of a characteristic where the dirt really doesn't cling on. So to wash it off, it'll be very easy. So that happened on Sunday. And right away when I drove this car on Sunday, while it was kind of peppy and everything, it's not quite up to my expectation. So with that being said, I start looking at parts. On Monday, right away, I went and updated my exhaust. Now, I didn't go buy a off-the-shelf exhaust because it's quite pricey. What I did do was go to my custom muffler shop. My guy, he went ahead and fabricated a updated kind of a version that I like. He knows what sounds I'm looking for in the car. I don't like it really kind of high pitch and more low, and I don't want it to be super loud this time around. Because I had my prior cars that I've owned, it was just loud and obnoxious, and my neighbors was just not too with the program. So with that being said, I really want to stay on the conservative side. Now the exhaust at the end of Monday worked very well. Nice tone, it's not super loud, and it does crackle and pop still. This car, it comes out of the gate in sports mode, crackle and pop. But along the way, this is a project car, and I wanted to improve the power already. I'm not gonna go over the exact specs for you, but as you heard or you researched the internet, it's around the mid 300s in horsepower, high 300s in torque, whatever that number is, okay? I'm gonna improve it. So what did I do to improve it? Throughout the week, as I was looking at various parts, the most common parts we would do is called bolt-ons. Common parts are like co-air intake, CAI, downpipe, which will help the airflow a lot better from the engine and let things out. It's kind of like as a runner, if you can breathe better, you can get more power, the endurance is better. Same concept here. I did that to the exhaust. So downpipe connects to the exhaust and the flow right out. So you can imagine the co-air intake would take co-air in to keep that temperature cool. The cooler the air, the better power you can get out of it during that combustion time. And then when this exhaust is out, the downpipe will let the air flow through a lot easier and so forth. The reason why they can't do that out of the gate is because the manufacturer has to be eco-friendly to the environment. There are regulations, especially here in California. So right away, I did those modifications with order. And then, if you can tell here, my body and the wheel, a little bit of closer in gap. I don't like a really wide gap here. I did drop the car. I ordered the springs. Originally came with like a two finger gap. I like it more to be a 1 finger, but I don't like where the body droops over the tire, so I'm pretty particular about that. So those are the things that I have ordered and you know, initially. But then came to really tuning the car. What does that mean? 95% of the cars out there, actually 100% of the cars out there, now has a computer brain, ECU. And there's two ways to really, I guess, modification-wise, to modify ECU. You can either flash it, which will overwrite the files that's in the ECU, and two, what they call piggyback, is like an add-on. So it does it before, after the computer things and kind of tricks it from that way. If you flash it, the most common avenue to go with that is called a brand called Ecutech. I'm not gonna advertise for them, but that's the go-to software, race ROM. You can do anything pretty much your imagination, it's the tuner's world out there to use that software to tweak the power in this car. But then there are other options like race chips and JB4s and other various ones out there. That's a piggyback, and that does not write to the ECU. And I chose the route to use a piggyback. Now, with that being said, you can get much more power out of a custom tune using Ecutech because you flash it. But here in California, not only that they check smog, but they're starting to check the ECU for modifications. I'm not confident what's the ramification or what's the penalty if you get caught with an modify ECU yet. I just don't want to go that route. The GTR that I had and other cars that I have, I would flash the ECU back then, not a problem. You get maximum power out of it, and then the DMV, they won't check it. Now they're starting to check for those things. So I kind of want to stay out of that. I'm chasing for my ideal numbers. I'm chasing for ideally high 400 horsepower and low 500 torque. And that's very achievable. Now, with the piggyback, that might not be as achievable. What I would say is that when all the parts came in, I start installing on a Friday evening starting around 2:30. I took the day off just to relax, but 2:30, I got to work. All my parts came in. I'm like, all right, how do I want to do this? I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos, and I'm going to comment on that a little bit later. The project, I started to do the springs. I've dropped cars on my own before. I have lifts and whatever else. It's not that hard, but I tell you what, it's really a two-person job because one needs to hold it, align it, and help me guide things. But it was done. But that was somewhat, it took a little bit longer than I wanted to, but it's fine, it's done. Part two, the second thing that I did was the downpipe. Let me tell you, that downpipe was very tough. What the video, when I watched the YouTube video, it was a very short duration. They did say it was time consuming. They didn't tell me exactly how long. It took me about an hour and a half to 2 hours. The guy in the video, which I will share on the bottom later on, he's a big guy, and I'm not that big. For those who knows me, I'm not a big guy. I'm not small, but I'm not big. But it took me an hour and a half, almost 2 hours to get that pipe out. It was painful. I'm gonna tell you. Next time, I'm not gonna do the downpipe myself again. But doing that downpipe, the project was successful. Then the next step is after I button all those things up, I went back into the hood. I started doing the co-air intake, which I purchased the Burger Motorsport. And by all means, all the parts I'm mentioning, I'm gonna put it down on the bottom in my description so you guys have an idea. I bought the BMS co-air intake, a very simple one, literally a cone as a filter and a really short pipe so the sensor can fit in it. That was it, nothing fancy, not all the carbon fiber, none of that stuff. And then lastly, again, I put in the JB4. All that was performed and all that was done on Friday evening. I was literally up for 12 hours. So yes, I didn't finish putting this car back together until like 2:30 in the morning. Oh, and along the way, I didn't buy new rims. I plastic dipped the wheels. It's not a bad thing. I don't think it looks too bad. I can get a closer, give you a closer shot later on, but it's fine. It will do the job for now. I like it. I think it looks pretty clean. Here's a better picture of it. It's a little bit closer. It was fine, but all that was done. So I start driving it on Saturday, testing it out just to see how it feels. Right away, I can tell you, way better pep, more power, more responsive. You can actually, with the co-air intake, you can hear the turbo spinning. So it was very good. I was really enjoying that car. And as I started pushing more to the limit of at least what the JB4 can do, it was really coming alive. The car was performing very well. And then late in the evening, as I went out to dinner with my son, I got more aggressive. What does that mean? I stepped it up and went to MAP 5. MAP 5 on JB4 entails the highest octane gas you can acquire, traditionally 93, not race fuel, 93 octane, and then plus some ethanol. So out here in California, E85 ethanol, it's kind of common, but just not in my neighborhood. So you can do a 30% mix. So the tank's like 14 gallons, so you can do the math. I did 30% of that. And what that allows me to do is run that MAP 5. The traditional car, when it comes out of the factory, I believe the boost level is up to 4, and don't flame me on this, it's about 4 PSI, that's my understanding. But MAP 5 with E85 and a higher octane, what it will do is allow the combustion to be even stronger, and it allows the PSI to step it up all the way up to the high or mid 20s. So the car was super responsive, lots of fun. And I thought, you know, here I was thinking, I'm always chasing for more power, so I would think that I need to go Ecutech. What ended up happening was that with the E30, even with the Michelin's Pilot Sports tires that came with it, I was starting to spin the wheel, even at 30, 40 mile per hour as I hit the gas. And, you know, I'm like, okay, I can't even put the power down, so why am I chasing higher numbers? So what I'm telling you is that for right now, I'm pretty comfortable with what I've done as far in week 1, that is. Oh, one more thing I did forget. I did do a throttle mapping device to help the throttle response. It's, you know, drive-by wires. It's notorious for that, especially BMWs. I did it on when I had my Alpina B7. I'm doing it again on this car because let me tell you, this entire weekend, as I was taking apart this car and putting it back together, I really can't find any Toyota stamping on there. Even when the battery had a Toyota sticker on there, the label said made in Germany. So it is a sheep in disguise, really. It's a Z4, like everyone says, as I get into this car more and more. The interior looked exactly like a BMW rather, and everything about it. I'm not gonna go on about the reviews of this car. That's not what this is about. This is just my adventure in trying to share with you guys that, what is this car like? Now, I think this is the part that will give everyone some perspective, especially if you're a car lover. I've owned 3 major Japanese cars that are quote unquote their halo sports cars. I've owned the GTR, the Black Edition. I've owned the new NSX NC1 model, started production in 2017 till now, and this is the last production year. And now with the remake of the MK5 Supra. What I would say to you is that, needless to say, the GTR, it's a phenomenal car, but it's heavy. And you know, even if you mod it, you can get it up to fully bolt on. You can get it up to around like 700 horsepower. Great car, can't complain. And from a quarter mile perspective, I was able to achieve in the mid to high 9s, okay? That car was a lot of fun. Full bolt on E85 running ethanol gas, so it gave it great power. It was a lot of fun, but it is a heavy car. And that car, technology-wise, really hasn't changed in over a decade. But with full due respect, it is still Godzilla. It is a very quick car. NC1, the newer NSX 2017 into the current, which is the model that I own. I modded as much as I could, modified it as much as I could. And that ECU has not been cracked as of today. So all you can do right now is use a piggyback. There are rumors that that ECU has been cracked, but I don't know. I don't own the car anymore. I cut it loose. But that car, at best, to give perspective, a quarter mile, again, on GTR can run mid 9s to high 9s with the fully modded. The NC1 NSX never broke 10. The best I got was a flat 10, and I think I completely lucked out on that, okay? Maybe it was a timing wrong. Because everyone that had reported their times, they're literally like 10.1, 10.15, 10.2, 10.3. I get it, we're splitting hairs. But in the world of drag and a quarter mile, it matters. And those milliseconds does matter. And it just, you couldn't break 10. You couldn't. This car here, with that little bit of modification, the 3 major add-ons per se, I think this car is at low 10s. I can feel it. Don't quote me on that. The butt feel of it, it's really strong. And in comparison to the 3 cars, this is a third of the price of the NSX. And because of the swelled up value of the GTR, this is also a third of the value of the GTR. That's pretty compelling. Driving wise, the passion is there, the feel of a sports car is there. The only thing that you don't feel, which I really do miss, is the JDM, meaning that it doesn't feel like a Japanese car. That's like the biggest problem. I don't know, is that a good thing or bad thing? To me, it's a bad thing because it's wearing a Supra label and it is a Toyota. Overall, the car itself, we'll see how long it'll stay. Over and under 6 months, do comment below. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions or anything, please do just comment, and please do subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I can go through more detail of the mods. I probably will here and there, but you know, this is my project car. I think there are a couple of minor things I still want to do. I know for a fact that the body kit's coming, the lower body kit's coming. And I did order the LED steering wheel, meaning that I have the LED timer and the information on the middle center of the wheel, on the top part at the 12 o'clock, and then the LED shifting lights for ramping up the RPMs in carbon fiber. That's coming sometime this week. Those are the two things I know I'm doing for sure. But as for chasing for higher power and higher numbers, I'm just gonna have to see. Because right now, at this particular stage, it's not holding it. The wheel is really spinning fast and it's not putting the power down. So I'm not sure if I really want to chase it. But with that being said, excuse me. With that being said, that's it. That's it for right now. A couple more cosmetic things here and there. And yes, your boy Larry did do this stereo because I'm from 30th Street, Baltimore, Maryland, baby. Of course I gotta have a system in my car. It's gonna bump wherever I go. So anyways, please do subscribe. Please everyone do stay healthy, and I look for you in the next vlog. Take care. Peace out.